conclusion of session 3 of Winchester's spring town meeting. So let's do a recap of what town meeting has accomplished tonight, starting with Article 26. This was initially a request for additional funds for repairs to the concrete here at Winchester High School. We heard that some of the areas of the high school, when it was rebuilt about 10 or 12 years ago, was original to the 1970 building. So we heard from Chris Nixon from the EFPBC. It said the problem was not as extensive as they thought, but there was further study needed. And again, the deterioration is limited to the original 1970 parts of the building. The public areas needing repairs will be repaired over the summer during school vacation. He said they'd run about $250,000. The rest will probably be left until next summer, but there'll probably be a new request to the fall town meeting. So because nothing was needed right now, there was a move to indefinitely postpone that. Article 28 was put forward by the school committee, looking for $600,000 approximately from free cash for a literacy curriculum program for kindergarten through 5th grade. We heard it was a one-time investment. It was recommended by the early literacy team. The curriculum is called Arts and Letters. It was tested and produced, did some test results and produced some very impressive results, they said. It will be implemented across all the elementary schools, all 5 elementary schools. But they also said that like national trends, our literacy levels are nationally below optimal. And this was in a 2-year educator study. The $600,000 from free cash for investing in the literacy program was passed unanimously. Article 34 was from the Community Preservation Committee. They said there's approximately $2 million in that fund. Last year was a pilot. They said there was about $500,000 left over from last year. The estimated revenues coming in from this surcharge on real estate tax bills is about $1.8 million. The state will kick in about $255,000. They said the CPA committee is looking to fund some volunteer operations on town properties. Community housing, historic preservation, and open space each get, by statute, a minimum of 10% of the CPA funds. We heard that applications were due for these funds by June 15th. The committee would evaluate them over the summer and advance their recommendations to fall town meeting. Article 35 was a proposal to purchase about over 13.5 acres for a circle for conservation. A town meeting member initially asked that this be postponed until Thursday, since some people were told it would come up Thursday. The moderator said that it was a responsibility of everybody concerned about an article to attend the town meeting. So that went forward. It was a proposal to borrow about $3 million. The CPA fund would kick in about $28,500. We heard a description of the property off Forest Circle, bordering Stoneham and the Middlesex Fells. Conservation said there were plans for trails and a boardwalk in there. Parking would be available on North Border Road and Forest Circle. Future improvements to the property after the town acquires it would be funded by grants. But we also heard the cost may exceed $3 million, and there was a lot of questions about whether it was worth $3 million. So apparently there has been no firm price negotiated with the owner of the property. The select board opposed it. The finance committee opposed it. They were concerned about potential loss of tax revenues, and that the value of $3 million or over $3 million was inflated. We heard town meeting members speak in favor of preserving it and in favor of conservation land. There was a motion to reduce the appropriation to $2 million, which was ruled out of order. We also heard several people saying it would be very expensive to develop. There's a lot of ledge and a lot of blasting. So the first motion was to borrow $3 million. That was defeated by a vote of 53 to 105. And because it was defeated, Article 2 was null and void. So Article 39 was a citizen's petition to establish a transfer station data and resource committee proposed by George Nowell Jr. He said the data for operating the transfer station was not readily available to the public, and this would improve transparency for decisions. It would be a resource, he said, for the town government. He proposed a one-year trial for this committee. Select Board opposed. Town Comptroller Stacy said there was about $2.4 million in revenue for the transfer station. But apparently town meeting liked the sound of this committee. There was no expense involved. It was all volunteer, and they would analyze and present data to the town. So it passed by 84 to 65. Article 46 was another citizen's petition to require paved sidewalks to be cleared in a timely manner. It said it was modeled after the Arlington bylaw. It could be reviewed annually. But we also heard that enforceability is a problem and the potential expense of doing that for both the DPW and the police department. School committee voted in favor. They like clear sidewalks. But we also heard it was not fair to because only 25% of the homes in town actually have a sidewalk, need to be cleared. This was not passed. It was referred to the Select Board for further study. Article 41, also a citizen's petition, which was restricting the use of anticoagulant rodenticides. Anticoagulant rat poisons, basically, on town properties. We heard it's highly toxic. It's in tissues, remains in tissues for about 4 weeks. There's a big concern about the food chain, too. We had an example of a bald eagle that died because it ingested a poisoned rodent. We heard that over 40 towns control rats without the use of these anticoagulant rodenticides, or ARs, and it can be overridden in an emergency. Town meeting liked the sound of that. It was passed unanimously. So that concludes our Monday session. With a little luck, we'll wrap up town meeting this Thursday, but the big item is the budget. So we would invite you to tune in on Thursday. Again, as I said on Monday, we also invite you to look at the resource for winchesternews.org. If you haven't already got your free subscription to it, go to their website, sign up. You'll get an email in your box every Thursday. They do a great job of covering town events, including this, in more detail than we can do in a quick summary. So winchesternews.org, go there, click it, donate it too. Donate to them if you can, but the subscription is free and the news is great. So for all of us here at WinCam, we appreciate your watching, and we'll be back Thursday for another session of Winchester Spring Town Meeting. So for everybody at WinCam, I'm Alan Dyden. Good night.